The battle droids in the armies of the Confederacy of Independent Systems are generally considered vastly inferior to the Republic's clone troopers, and when it came to basic units, especially the B-1 battle droid, this assessment is mostly accurate. As it's sometimes easy to forget, the CIS droid army wasn't entirely a mass of incompetent comic relief horde soldiers. There were a number of droid models employed by the CIS that the Republic's clones, and even the Jedi that led them, oftentimes feared. The CIS droid army was one of the largest fighting forces ever assembled in the history of the galaxy, and it was the largest outright up to that point in history. It was created from the pooled private militaries of a dozen powerful corporate interests, and was bolstered by thousands of new droids every day. In many cases, these sheer numbers came at the cost of quality. Standard B1s were inferior to even rookie clone troopers, and even the stronger B2 models weren't much of a challenge for the Grand Army of the Republic. But due to the diverse array of competent factions within the CIS, those two unit types were by no means the only battle droids used by the CIS. Many of their more specialized units were actually exceptionally effective and even capable of killing Jedi. Right off the bat, the most obvious droid on this list is the droideka. Pretty much anyone that has to fight a force that uses droidekas fears them, and for good reason. Droidekas were some of the most remarkable killing machines to ever be produced in the Star Wars galaxy, and that's saying something. They were well armored, shielded, and equipped with overpowered blaster cannons that were capable of quickly downing even light vehicles. Even Jedi feared droidekas, as they were more than capable of killing Jedi in combat, since their shields could deflect lightsaber blades. The shields used by droidekas was the biggest reason why they were feared by clones and even by Jedi. All droidekas were equipped with shields, although W-series droidekas rarely used theirs to provide more power for their blaster cannons. These shields did have weaknesses, however. As was shown in the Onderon arc, grenades or droid poppers could be rolled into the protective shield bubble, and the Revenge of the Sith novel also tells us that the shields were incapable of telling the difference between a lightsaber and a wall, making force-pushing droidekas over a viable method of shorting out their defenses. But all methods of penetrating droideka's shields were fairly difficult, and few opponents faced with the droideka would live long enough to try one.
Master, destroy us! Shield generators! Stand up, let's go!
No match for droidekas.
The IG-100 MagnaGuard was another feared separatist unit, though fortunately for the Republic, they were few in number. When MagnaGuards were used in battle, however, it was almost always to great effect, and so both clones and Jedi feared them. Some in the Grand Army of the Republic even said that the MagnaGuards were worse than the droidekas, due to their durability, speed, and their skills in combat. Though MagnaGuards weren't equipped with shields like droidekas were, they had much more dangerous attributes: ridiculous agility and the fighting skills of trained Jedi killers. MagnaGuards weren't immune to blaster fire, though their armor was capable of taking a few hits, but in most cases this wouldn't matter. They moved too fast for any human to be able to shoot them. Their sheer agility allowed them to slaughter non-force sensitives with ease, especially when they acted in groups. To make matters worse for the Republic, their skill at fighting and killing Jedi meant that there was effectively no counter to them, which is, of course, why General Grievous commissioned them as his bodyguards in the first place. To a lesser degree, clone troopers also feared the BX series Commando droids, though Jedi had less of a problem fighting them. Unlike standard B1s and B2s, Commando droids were intelligent, fast, and skilled, and one Commando droid was capable of slaughtering a few troopers without so much as a scratch. In groups, Commandos were even more efficient, and since more of them could be made than they could MagnaGuards and droidekas, groups of Commando droids were a much more common sight in the Clone Wars than your average clone would like. Commando droids were essentially a perfection of the standard battle droid. Even without their skills in infiltration, they were properly armored, independently intelligent, and could actually hit opponents when they shot at them. Combine this with Commando training and the relentless bloodlust of a droid programmed to kill, and you have a battle droid that's more effective than the Republic's clones. While Jedi may not have thought much of the BX series, clones most certainly would have feared them, and for good reason.
Sound the alarm!
They've disabled the beacon.
Get a message to the fleet! We have to ward! Sarge! That should slow those buckets down.
Now we go into less intuitive choices for this list. First up, we have a droid that some of you may have heard of, the B3 Ultra Battle Droid. Though a few of these droids were ultimately deployed in the Clone Wars, they nonetheless saw action and were incredibly effective in combat. They were more than capable of slaughtering squads of clone troopers, and one unit on its own gave 2 Jedi High Council members a hard time. The B3 was definitely feared by the average clone and by the average Jedi too. B3s were absolutely massive, twice as tall as the B2 and many times as deadly. Each unit featured a pair of rapid fire blasters, a flamethrower, a wide spray plasma cannon, and a magazine of brilliant missiles which made it capable of destroying pretty much anything in its path, from clone squads to Jedi to light tanks. To make matters worse for the Republic, B3 units were incredibly well armored, so much so that even lightsabers had a hard time cutting through. This, combined with density projectors that prevented the droids from being tipped over, made it one of the most formidable battle droids ever produced. Fortunately for the Republic, however, the B3 was rarely seen. While it was originally intended by the Techno Union to replace droidekas in frontline roles since it was cheaper, malfunctions with the density projectors on units prevented this from happening, and Ultra Battle Droids were a very rare sight up until the Outer Rim sieges. Even during the sieges, the droids were uncommon, though that didn't stop clone troopers from fearing the droids by any means. Back into more familiar territory, the Pistoka Sabotage Droid was another model that clones feared, or at least clone pilots did. Commonly known as buzz droids, these small saboteurs were deployed through special Discord missiles and were known for their ability to latch onto starships and wreak havoc on them. Buzz droids were unpredictable, and there was next to no way that clone pilots could fight them, making them a terrifying threat in space combat. Even ground-based clones feared the little pests due to their speed and due to the fact that nobody wants to get mauled by buzzsaws and plasma torches. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the buzz droid was the sheer number of ways that those little guys could completely ruin your day and end your life. They were equipped with drill heads, plasma torches, buzzsaws, pincer arms, data jacks, and even blasters on some models, and they were capable of using them in a wide variety of ways to ruin your starship and cripple your squadron. In more merciful cases, buzz droids would shut off life support systems and controls, leaving pilots to slowly suffocate or ejecting them into the vacuum of space. In less merciful cases, they would outright take over starships and would turn pilots' guns against their own brothers. Buzz droids were made even more effective by Darth Sidious himself, who sent the Confederacy the blueprints for the Republic's starfighters to upload into the memories of their buzz droids. This meant that not only were buzz droids capable of a wide variety of destructive sabotage, but they also knew every single one of these methods and exactly how to execute them. This means they were able to spend less time finding out where certain systems are and more time on breaking into them, oftentimes before pilots had a chance to react.
Slight problem. Ahsoka, I've got buzz droids. How bad did you get hit?
I'm all clear.
What? You always have it easy, Snips. Good job, R2. Someday, these droids will learn they keep messing with the wrong Jedi. Keep watching and learning, Padawan. Uh-oh. Oh, nothing serious, just a small malfunction.
Back into obscurity, our next item on this list is the Colicoid Scorponok Annihilator droid. Droidekas may have been some of the most feared battle droids of all time, but their larger cousins gave them a run for their money. Annihilators were army killers, capable of obscene levels of sheer destruction, as the Republic found out when it tried to invade Collar 4. Fortunately for the Republic, these units made their frontline debut near the end of the Clone Wars and saw relatively little action. But in that short time, the clones that served in the Grand Army nonetheless learned to fear them. Annihilators were essentially everything that made droidekas deadly, but larger and more powerful. These battle droids were the size of tanks, and honestly could be easily classified as tanks as well. Where droidekas were equipped with dual rapid firing blaster cannons capable of shredding columns of clone troopers, annihilators were equipped with dual rapid firing laser cannons capable of shredding columns of ATTEs. To add to this ridiculous level of firepower, annihilators were shielded too, and droidekas were known to deploy inside of this larger protective field, providing a double layer of shielding. All of these features made the Scorponok Annihilator droid terrifyingly deadly and more than capable of striking fear even into the most hardened Jedi and clone troopers. A single Annihilator could easily destroy a dozen ATTEs despite being much smaller, and single Annihilators could kill nearly 100 clones in short order. In larger numbers, they made a nearly unstoppable wall of energy shields and armor, a dire threat to any Republic force. Perhaps the most obscure droid on this list is the A-Series Assassin droid, an elite unit used by the Confederacy to slaughter Jedi Padawans on Jabim. As the droids themselves put it, they were designed to disassemble over 11,000 sentient species, a job that they excelled at. They operated in groups, relying on firepower, durability, and combat skill, though each droid was more than a match for even the most skilled clone. Even Jedi struggled against them, and when deployed on Jabim, these droids were able to kill every Jedi left except Anakin Skywalker. These droids were lethal and feared primarily due to the quality of their design. They were built by one of the most skilled designers of the time, and they were further upgraded by Rakuten Computer found on Kashyyyk. Aside from their high quality armor plating, A-Series Assassin droids featured blaster cannons mounted on their shoulders and wrists, blades that could extend from their fingers, and they were capable of using a vast range of other weapons as well. Our final entry on this list is more of a footnote than anything: the Octatara Combat Tri-droid. Not to be confused with the Octatara Magna tri-droid which was seen on Christosis, the Combat Tri-droid was a smaller tri-droid unit that was used as an anti-infantry droid as seen on Utapau and Coruscant. While the standard model of Combat Tri-droid wasn't particularly feared by clone troopers, an outwardly indistinguishable variant was. Many Combat Tri-droids were equipped with devices that would release painfully lethal airborne pathogens when the droids were destroyed, which led to the Octatara units being nicknamed Virus Droids. So that was our list of CIS battle droids that the Republic clone troopers feared. And as per usual guys, I want to know what you think. Did we miss any? And more importantly, if you were a clone trooper in the Grand Army of the Republic, which droid model would you fear the most? Post your thoughts in the comment section below. And just before you go guys, if you are enjoying my content, please do consider checking out my Patreon, as I'm now doing this full time. Even $1 helps guys, so make sure you check that out. And I want to thank all of my current patrons. Their names are listed in the description below. And you know what else is in the description below? All of our Geetsly's gaming network links. So if you want to join the wider Geetsly's community on our Gmod, on our Roblox, then make sure you check out all those links in the description below so you can game with us, roleplay with us, and just have a fun time interacting with other Star Wars fans like yourself. Anyways guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.